One morning, Buddha came into his assembly of the monks, carrying a beautiful silk handkerchief. The disciples were puzzled because this was for the first time that Buddha had come with something in his hand. They all looked at the handkerchief and thought, there must be something very special in it. Buddha sat on the platform, and rather than speaking to the assembly, he looked at the handkerchief and started tying a few knots in it. 5 knots in all. Then he asked the assembly, "Can anybody tell me, is this handkerchief the same as it was before the knots were tied?" One of the disciples said, "This is a tricky question, Master. In a way, the handkerchief is the same because nothing has changed. And in another way, it is not the same because these 5 knots have appeared which were not there before. So as far as the inner nature of the handkerchief is concerned, it is the same. But as far as its form is concerned, it is no longer the same. The form has changed, but the substance is still the same." "All right," said Buddha. "Now I want to open these knots." And saying this, he started stretching both the ends of the handkerchief away from each other. Then he asked, "What do you think? By stretching farther, will I be able to open the knots?" The disciple said, "You will be making the knots even more difficult to open because they will become smaller and more tighter." "Okay, then I want to ask the last question," said Buddha. "What should I do so that I can open these knots? How can I untie them again?" The disciple said, "Master, I would like to come close and see how in the first place the knots have been tied. Unless I know how they have been tied, it is difficult for me to suggest a solution." Buddha looked happy with the disciple and he said, "My child, you are right. This is what I wanted to teach you. If there are knots inside of you, you must know how you got into them. Watch and meditate upon your knots. Do not try to get out of them, but untie them with understanding, or else you will only make the knots tighter." My friends, all the knots, all the problems, all the negative thoughts and feelings arise in the mind. If we see how we create our problems, if we become aware of how we allow negative emotions to arise in the mind and engulf our entire consciousness, then this very awareness will untie all our knots and set us free. And so, my friends, make a conscious effort to see how and where your problems originate. Because for the man who can see the entrance, also knows the door to exit. Thanks for watching. And if you find inspiration in wise words and stories, please subscribe to my channel for more. And stay simply wise.